Hello, my friends on YouTube. Today is Sunday, the 9th of March 2025. I'm sorry last week the microphone was not so close to me, so the sound was not very good. I'm sorry about that. Today's video, I wanted to do it for quite a while. However, every Sunday there was something new happening. Last time it was because of the Ramadan, the beginning of Ramadan. And today I will dedicate this video for what happened. It's about 6 weeks ago it happened, and today's video is about Islam and sexual harassment. Yes, something happened 6 weeks ago, and normally this goes unchecked. However, because it happened to two influential ladies or young ladies on the social media, it got the attention of many people, including the news. I'm going to put this in the description box. Two young ladies. One is a singer. Her name is Haifa Wahbi from Lebanon, and the other one is her name is Noor Rida, and she is a model. One of these young ladies, they show clothing, so she is a model. And both of them have from my understanding, I really don't know I didn't know anything about them. I have no idea about these things, but they have big followers, and what made me pay attention to that is their presence on the news. And of course they are upset because even though it's not physical sexual harassment, it is mental sexual harassment. And maybe for many people, well, even if a pretty beautiful looking, good looking woman, she should not have to endure any kind of harassment. What's the point? Why do you do that? Yet, because of their appearance, and of course they are very pretty young ladies, I mean, they receive vulgar messages, and they have to deal with that. Of course, these vulgar messages are not coming from Israel, from a Jewish man in Israel, or an atheist man in, let's say, Iceland, or a Christian man from Britain, or what have you. These are people from within the culture that we are all suffering of. So these two young ladies have to deal with that day in and day out. Some people send them messages that it is so vulgar and so annoying. And why? I mean, okay, she's beautiful. What does she deserve your vulgar language because she is beautiful? So I would like to speak now about each country has a certain culture, and we have this culture inherited from our tradition, the way we are brought up. So religion, our way of life, ethics are normally learned from religions. And some people go above the religious teaching and they follow their conscience. I mean, it doesn't take a scientist or a person with IQ of 300 to know that it is not right to harass another person, whether it's a man or a woman. It doesn't take a very, very smart man or woman to know that stealing is wrong. But some people until now, they don't steal because their book tells them stealing is wrong. Anyway, the point here is we are influenced by our culture, and our ancestors, our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents are influenced by the tradition that it was created in the country that we grew up in, and therefore their faith or lack of contribute to how they behave. So we have now people, let's say, I give you an example. I'm Egyptian. People in Egypt, we have about 10 to 15% Coptic Christian living in Egypt, and the rest are practically Muslims. So the overall culture is an Islamic one, and Islamic culture is not a very forgiving culture. And therefore, you find quite a few Coptic Christian in Egypt, even though they tell you I'm Christian, and as a Christian you are supposed to have a forgiving mind, a forgiving heart, because this is what Christianity teach. Christianity teaches that you should be forgiving. Whereas Islam does not. However, because Islam does not, and the Christian living in Egypt for 1400 years, many of these Coptic Christians inherited the way of thinking of the Muslim. So yes, he will tell you I'm Christian, but if somebody hurt him in any way, he or she wants to take revenge because they inherited the Islamic culture. That forgiveness does not apply to them so much. On the other hand, I live in America for a long time, and in America there are quite a few Jewish people. And even though in Judaism, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, that means if somebody hurt you in a certain way, you are supposed to take revenge on them and get even. So if they poke you an eye, poke their eye, and so on and so forth. However, the Jews living in America or any Christian nation, I noticed that even though that is supposed to be their way of life, to take revenge on those who do harm to them, nonetheless, because they are living in that forgiving way of thinking, which is mainly Christian, they actually let go of so many things. They tell you, forgive, it's okay, let it pass. So we get influenced by the culture, and the culture that it is in the Middle East and in North Africa, it's an Islamic one. What does it mean, an Islamic culture? It means we're influenced by Islam and the founder of Islam, the guy who came to us 1400 years ago. So, even though I know in Quran, chapter, it's called Al-Qalam. I'll put it to you in the description box. Al-Qalam 4, verse 4. The book, Muhammad's book, says to Muhammad, you are on a high level of morality and consciousness. Means you know very well right from wrong. Is that true? Is that right? How come most Islamic countries, are harassing women sexually by touching physically? I mean, they see a woman and sometimes they touch her from behind, touch her breast in the open on the street. I know of that. Okay, and if they cannot get to her like these two famous women, the singer and the model, then they actually become vulgar with them online. I don't have time to read all that stuff, but I'm very sure they probably say, I would like to see you naked, or I want to do something with you. So it's annoying. They think because she is famous, or she is a singer, or she's a model, she will do immoral stuff. No, but that's because their mind, the culture that we are raised up in, and I say we because I came out of this culture, but I was lucky enough to think, reflect, and see and reject that nonsense. So if I can reject this nonsense, you have the capability and the ability to reject this garbage and say, no, I will not follow that. So let's look carefully at the founder of Islam, who was on, excuse me, on a very high level standard of consciousness and morality. Okay, because I don't care if the words say you are, if people, or even if you say about yourself that you are a wonderful man or a wonderful woman, but your behavior suggests otherwise. I will believe the behavior more. Okay? Your behavior says more about you than your words. So you can walk around and say, I'm the most holy man on earth, but you are as filthy as shift. I will believe more your behavior than the words. So let's examine the Prophet of Allah. May the blessing of Allah be upon his bass. I'm really angry. Bass, B-A-S-S. You know the fish? Bass. Yeah. So, the Prophet of Allah. I spoke before about the woman whom she was sent to him to marry. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that when a man and a woman get married, that they are going to have sexual relationship. Okay? This woman, her name is the Juniya woman, she came, she was sent to him. She is from a quite wealthy family because they sent her to him to marry her. Probably they thought he was a good person. She was sent to him to marry her. And with her, she had a servant. That means she's from a somewhat wealthy family. Not every one of us can afford to have a servant with him or her to serve us all the time. Is not, you have to be of a certain class to afford that. So she was with her servant. And the moment he goes to see her, he tells her, give me yourself. Means open yourself, let me get in. And the woman jumped, and probably he touched her in an inappropriate way that she jumped. And she left. She felt that this guy is wacko. She left. That's one. The second one, the woman whom she passed in front of, a Muslim woman. That means she was well covered. She had her hijab on. She was well covered. And she was passing, probably going to the market or what have you. Nobody knows, but women sometimes they need to buy some stuff for their home. He saw her passing and he couldn't control. He had to run to one of his women to ask her, take care of me, I have to empty myself, otherwise it's going to explode. She had to take care of him, and then he goes back to his friends. That is the person we are actually taking our culture and our morality and our standard from him. That's his way of life. That's what we inherited, and it's projected on people, on us as followers, how we relate to women. These people, when they harass this actress and this, actually she is a singer and actress, when they relate to her in this manner, we shouldn't be surprised. Their founder, the most holy man, did the same thing. What else? Let's see. The 3 Jewish women whom he killed their husbands. And amazingly, all of them have, because in Islam, I don't know if you know that, in Islam, if you remarry a married woman, her husband died, or he was killed, or what have you, she was married, you are supposed to wait. You can marry her, yes, but you can never have a relationship with her until she has the cycle. She has her period. And once she is done with her period, then you can actually consummate your marriage with her. So that in case if she is pregnant from the previous husband, the previous man, is known clearly that this child belonged to this man, even though he was killed or taken captive or what have you, that child belongs to this man. And then you can marry her or rape her or whatever you want to do. Yet, the 3 Jewish women whom he conquered and killed their husbands in the same night, all of them had their period and they were cleansed of their period, or rather, their period finished on the very same day the husband were killed. So he was okay to have sexual relationship with them. The 3 of them. Yeah, that is our Prophet of Allah. May the blessing of Allah be upon him. So reality is, all people who follow this nonsense are suffering. And even they don't admit it, they think they are following the most wonderful person on earth and in heaven too. Okay? It's very unfortunate, but they believe that. Reality is, whether we admit it or not, we are in pain and in front of a dilemma. And all of us have to look at things objectively, like these women. What did they do to deserve to be attacked like this? And these people, I mean, they are harassed verbally on social media. They say inappropriate words to them. And words hurt. Words do hurt. So when you hurt them with these words, imagine walking in a Muslim country or an Islamic region, and sometimes the man with his wife, and somebody comes from, I heard of that, somebody comes from behind and touch his wife, and there are 4 or 5 of them, he cannot do much. This anguish he has to deal with, his wife has to deal with. And we are following the most holy man. He brought us the final message from Allah. So my suggestion to you, please take a step back, reflect, think. Tell me if I'm mistaken that I left this nonsense because it's filthy. Explain to me. I know many people are, there's one person who is upset that I'm talking, upset. I appreciate that he's confessing that he's upset, because, I mean, after following this nonsense for a long time, I understand. It wasn't so easy to say, I deny this. I was upset, yeah. But he's polite. He's upset, but he's polite. I appreciate that. But all what I'm suggesting, take a step back and think objectively about what's happening, what the founder of this nonsense left for us. Think and make a decision. Those who are screaming at me and cursing, your time will come, but not now. You are in a deep sleep. Your time will come. But those who are thinking, when you are upset, I know because I was in that stage one day. So you are upset now, but soon you will start to reflect and say, wait a minute. That what the prophet said doesn't sound so much like a prophet. More like a profit to make money. And that was the case. We thank you very much. We hope to hear from you.